Alec, welcome back to Survivor Cook Islands.
That's right. We're here, and boy, that was a weird last episode that we had. It was just an unusual, one of the more unusual things that I can remember happening in Survivor. My family is quite good, like I said, about keeping things under wraps, but we did talk about that just generally because I brought it up because I just wanted to say tell them if they remember that, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that was such a strange thing," and then Jeff Probst being like, "Wait, it's this person?" Yeah, he's like, hey, Jeff Probst was like totally.
Yeah. Yeah. So Billy had his moment, and he got voted out.
I love you. This is.
We love you. And
yeah, we do.
I love you.
I love you. It was very. It was something. It was I'll power to him. It's he's shooting his shot. I guess.
This is what he's shooting. He didn't though. He didn't shoot his shot at all. He was just. he thought he just had it already. It was just no shot needed.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I suppose that's true. He did say it was like he felt something. It's just like.
That's what we say to other people. I'll say on behalf of Tarqaron, we love you. And everybody gets it the wrong way. Everybody takes it the wrong way, but.
Yeah, that'd be weird, and they'd be like, "Oh my god, did you hear?" Well, there was a live stream I was watching the other night, and they wrote out my comment, and then it was like a hand cam, and then they did like this thing. So then I said in a chat to someone, guys, she said she gave a heart hand. What was that? That means she loves me, specifically me. It's just for me. It wasn't for anyone else. Yeah, that's not how it works. I'm sorry.
You have to view everything in a vacuum. You have to view everything in a vacuum. You have to wipe your mind of the fact she does the same heart hands 5 seconds later. The next comment is like, "Oh,
that's right.
No, it was just me.
That's right.
It was right to me.
No, it was just me. It was all me. Yeah. And then so I said that jokingly, and then someone posted a song that was like, "Remember to take your meds." Take. Another really good episode last time, honestly.
It was.
We had a lot of little sort of like snapshots or vertical slices of what's going on in each tribe. Hiki a little less so, because I think we had more of their stuff in the last episode. They were not on the chopping block this time around. That's another reality show. That's Chopped. They weren't going to tribal council this time around. But yeah, we talked about a bunch of other things. We had on Ida, we had Christine talking about taking a bullet. That was one of the things I wrote down. And
we had Cowboy on Puka.
Yeah, Cowboy on Puka.
Jokes.
And then Ozzy is the one. He's sort of. Or what's his name? And
Oscar.
Christina specifically is like Oscar. I'm like, okay.
But they threw that challenge just to get Billy out. That's how bad they wanted
to get him out. Yeah, it's kind of wild. And the fact Billy just knew about it the whole time too. He's like he knew, like he could, and they didn't even try to mask it. Like they really
Yeah.
And it was real bad. It's kind of wild that's that early. That's something that you. At least in Pearl Islands, they waited a while to sort of pull something like that, but in this one, it was just right off the bat, practically.
Because they had beaten them in a couple of challenges, like a few challenges in a row in Pearl Islands, and then that was the one where they threw that, and then things kind of evened out from there. But we were talking, they showed on the Funny 115 we read recently, where it's that kind of gave them the motivation once they threw that challenge. They thought they just won that challenge, and then that motivated them further. But in this one, they didn't even get any sort of momentum. They won one challenge in a 4-tribe situation, and then threw the next one. So
yeah. But we also already have the additional immunity idols already in play. Episode 2, immediately found. I don't think the clues are that hard, guys. If people can find them in two guesses, you got to make them more cryptic. Make them way more I don't know. I almost said Zelda-like, but Zelda puzzles aren't always that cryptic a lot of the time. They're usually pretty straightforward.
Mm-mm.
Um, you gotta make it more like a point and click, like a LucasArts point and click game where some of those puzzles to figure out like what thing you need to do what thing, you gotta have something like that. You need to be a little bit more cryptic with
It's
it.
like you find an object that like
Yeah,
you have to use. Then you have to use that object to do something to activate somewhere else, and
that's right. You have to use the calendar to show George Washington that you need to go back in time to. No, I don't.
yeah, like we joked about in another season. Like you have to find some NPC like person out there. They're like someone who looks like they're in distress or something.
It
Oh,
would
what?
feel like the Wind Waker mixed with like Red Dead Redemption a little bit. Like sailing, you have to like go sailing. You have to like go search the islands to like find an NPC to help.
Just like
Yeah,
suspended in a random platform in the middle of the ocean. Like,
they just spend all day sitting out there. That'd be. Hopefully, I hope they're compensated pretty well. Um,
All right, so
yeah,
yeah, let's see what happens next.
yeah, we'll see.
But yeah,
See what's
now
up.
now that you got that idol, we're in for another just like everybody going there for no reason now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We'll check in. We'll check in on the people for like 2 seconds, and then now we're back.
All right. As always, you can click the link in the description to see the highlights of the reaction, and then come back afterwards for the discussion. All right. Alex, Cecilia voted out.
Yeah.
New tribes. What do you think?
That was an interesting episode as well. That was also very entertaining. Yeah, it was a good one. You can't ask for more on a merge episode. Even though I thought some of the ways that the merge happened was a little odd and a little overly complicated. But
Well, so they got them separated by their tribes in the beginning, and then they had 4 captains, 2 men, 2 women, and then they had them pick people of the same gender of a different ethnicity. So they had like perfectly diverse tribes, and then they all each of the captains then grab an egg and they squish it, and then that gives them the color of the new tribe they have. So now they're in 2
right,
tribes.
the new mega tribe they have. So we're back to 2 tribes rather than
Yeah.
so yeah. It was a little weird just because it was very like maybe it was like overly complicated. You didn't need like every aspect of it, but I guess the egg squish was kind of fun, right? It exploded.
I like that. Very squishy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Get the yeah.
But yes, the new Raro tribe has Nate, JP, Parvati, Jenny, Adam, Brad, Rebecca, Stephanie, and Christina. The new I2 tribe had Jonathan, Cowboy, Yule, Candace, Becky, Flicka, Ozzy, Cecilia, and Sundra.
Mm-hmm.
And now Cecilia's gone.
Yep.
But we saw that Candace got because Raro won immunity, they were able to send one of the losing members to Exile Island, but also gave them immunity from the vote. So they sent Candace, but that inadvertently messed up the plan they had going into it, because they had this grouping of Yule, Becky, Jonathan, and Candace, and then Jonathan was saying, I can pull in Flicka.
Yeah.
But let's say they had to regroup, and then Flicka wasn't as solid as Jonathan thought, so it was like a lot of episodes spent with Jonathan focusing on Flicka and then Yule focusing on Cowboy. Kind of had to like divide and conquer on that.
It was interesting because neither of them seemed to like really like Yule and Cowboys just sort of came to an understanding, and it was like Flicka was still sort of like, yeah, I don't know, but then like Cowboy and Flicka like met, and they were both sort of like, yeah, we don't really trust them, we don't really agree, but then they were also like, but they kind of have a point that we have to be thinking about the game like on a longer scale level rather than just thinking about keeping who we want, in the short term. We got to think about our long-term position in the game.
Yeah, they both said they don't trust Jonathan specifically, which is interesting. I think he just gives off that, I mean, he's not very subtle about the fact that he is like a, strategist kind of player, so that's...
Yeah, he just kind of have that definitely has like a very like a direct kind of energy, I guess you could say. So
like the way he like went to Flicka, I don't think is necessarily the best way to go to a player like that.
Yeah,
she clearly was not receptive to a lot of it. She was not really feeling it. She's like, oh.
Yeah, you could see like she kept like looking off like while he's like talking to her. She's like looking off in other directions
But it worked out. I mean, Jonathan said we'll see how convincing I've been. So, I mean, it's hard to say if he was convincing or if it was Yule talking to a Cowboy that made up a lot of the work there. I don't know. That's kind of what
I feel like that did more because like Cowboy and she had like a bond like right away. It was like really kind of like kind of a goofy way because he was just like, "You're not Asian, but I like you," and she was just like, she did that like weird like.
You can tell that it was very touching to her.
Yeah, it was very like it was kind of like a cute little moment that happened. So,
and then Cowboy was obviously much more receptive to Yule's what Yule had to say. He was like, all right, you made your point.
Yeah,
I hear you. And so that paid off there.
Yeah, so especially because like that was really in Yule's best interest because he and Becky have a pretty close bond. He's even trusted her with the information that he has the immunity idol. So they're kind of a pair. They're so yeah.
In the beginning, we saw the follow up to the Billy and Candace of it all.
Yeah.
We get to see her reaction to it.
Yeah, because when they combined, then Candace was sort of like they kind of talked to her about it, and then she explained that like, no, that's not really how like what happened. That's not what I meant by it. It was kind of funny because she was clearly like embarrassed by it, and that's like, yeah.
They should have like really manipulated the audience into thinking it was like a real love connection, and then just blindsided us with like, oh no, that was nothing.
Yeah. Oh no, it was nothing. And it would be like, are we just gaslit?
Yep.
By CBS? Yeah. But
we'll see what happens when she comes back in the mix now, because she missed out on this whole like the whole strategizing the episode on Exile.
Yeah.
But seemingly Jonathan considers them a pair, so they were gonna group up with Becky and Yule, but I don't think she even knows that yet. It was kind of or yeah, I feel like they only really we didn't hear Candace talk with them. It always like Jonathan talking to Yule about it.
Yeah.
So see her in the mix next time.
So I guess some other things. I didn't write this down, but what's her name on Raro there?
Parvati.
Yes, Parvati talking about spinning men in her web. Basically, she's like, yeah, we got some good-looking, hefty guys here, so I'm gonna. So she's honed in on Nate in particular, and she laid it on thicker than I think I've ever seen in this game. Like thicker than frickin' shoot, what's her name from
Julie?
From Australia. Julie laid it on thick, but
Australia?
I would say even
Jerry?
More than Jerry, yeah. It was just like so like, hey, like your pants are falling down. Or like, ooh. Hey, that was a big octopus. I bet you could eat the whole thing, couldn't you? I was like,
I wanted to get really weird and like specific with it, and like, oh,
yeah,
I bet you could fit a whole octopus in that boy,
in that man.
Oh,
okay.
Should I be into that?
Yeah.
I mean, you could put an octopus in me if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was definitely. She like straight up owning the fact that she's flirting. You don't really see that often. I don't feel like we've seen that. Where it's just like really I'm good at like this is what I'm good at. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I can flirt. I'm gonna flirt my way into everyone's good graces. And I was like, okay, you own it, I guess, if you're good at it.
Adam's
So.
her little monkey, your
Or a little monkey,
comment.
yeah, a little monkey. She said, yeah.
And then
I think there's two.
it was interesting that Cowboy was the one that actually brought up Becky as an option. I mean, he was viewing it purely as like challenge. He wasn't even considering the fact they were in the original tribe, and maybe not suggest someone from your original tribe if you can avoid it. But he's just straight up to Yule. He's like, I think we gotta cut Becky. She's like a princess out here.
Yeah, and he was like, "What? Not what?" He was like, "No, no, no,
no."
Yeah.
Okay, you made your point. You made your point.
Okay, yeah, and then he's like, "No, but honestly, it's Cecilia's the weak link. She's the one."
What do you call a Vietnamese? Okay, Cowboy. I'll see you later.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's. I had no idea what he was talking about in that earlier one. The 14, 15, and then he was talking about going to college or not going to college, and
unless they're Bush's children or
blue line children. I was like, what? What are you saying?
Yeah.
I had no idea what he was talking about.
But I'm glad he seems to be gelling a little bit more in here with these.
Yeah, with some of these
Flicka,
other folks.
Right up Flicka's alley.
Yeah, apparently she's like, I get, as soon as it was joined, she's like, I really love that. I can sense these other energies, this energy.
Good vibrations.
Like the vibrations, good vibrations. Yeah, she's like, she's really.
She loves that song. I can never just say Flicka, like, seriously. I feel like I have to say it hard, like, Flicka.
There's an old movie about a horse called My Friend Flicka. So every time they mention that, that's all I can think of. It's like a 50s movie.
Gross, you know.
for a person, that's what I mean. It's about a horse in the movie.
But we did have the plow challenge where they're wading in the water with the bags, and they have to transfer the weight. This time you have to tackle one just for no reason. I don't see really. Yule's like, we're not gonna win this hour. We just need to start fighting them. Like what? We're gonna are you gonna defeat them in combat and then like run off fast enough to come back around?
We'll fight them in pitched combat. So yeah, that was kind of funny. So wait, did that mean if you turned around and you tackled one of them, then they would have won?
No, because you have to go from behind. So you have to tackle them down and just like make like basically take them out so bad that they could come all the way back around and tackle them.
Fight them off. You have to like sucker punch them basically in order to stand a chance.
Knock them all out and to like cripple them and then come all the way around real quick. Yeah,
cause bodily injury.
But I mean that was fun.
It was.
Who would you give your MVP to for the episode?
Boy, that's really tough.
I mean, this episode is very centered on about 4 people, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so as well. I think Yule is probably who I'm going to give it to.
Yule.
Yeah, because I think he was sort of the key factor in having that sort of happen. I mean, he and Becky are really strong, and like he's really fighting for her. It's like the fact that he was able to convince Cowboy, who then sort of, I think, from his sort of arguments, sort of convinced Flicka to sort of come to their side of the whole thing. I think ultimately is what saved them. So I think that play is definitely a big highlight. I mean, it was to me he was just great. I liked him in this episode in general too. So
yeah, he's great. He definitely was like the actual definition of MVP for the episode, right?
Yeah, like legitimately.
Jonathan's fun though, and how
Jonathan is fun. He's probably a follow up, because he was definitely.
But then,
like, so what you're saying is, what do you mean? What do you mean?
So what you're saying is we're not as close as I thought we were.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it was focused on Cowboy and Flicka in the middle.
There were some good stuff there too. Yeah.
So I almost feel like we should have heard more from the other side, because it was very heavy on like how are Jonathan and Yule going to convince them, and you don't really hear anything from Sandra, who is the only one from her tribe there, and Cecilia, barely from Cecilia, and like maybe one confessional from Ozzy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And yeah, so their side was like, yeah, especially when it came to like Sundra, it was like, oh well, Sundra, you're the only person in your tribe, and I was like, boy, we haven't heard from her like in the entire episode. Are you a what was it? Are you a
valuable or vulnerable?
Or vulnerable? It's like, well, I guess you're neither valuable nor vulnerable. Like,
right. Because we didn't hear from her at all. I mean, it would have been nice to have that, like, but yeah. So because retroactively, it's kind of like it seems almost obvious how the result's going to go since we're so focused on one side of it the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, but at the same time, we've seen that a lot in Survivor, and a lot of that has sometimes it continues to go with the status quo, or it continues to go that way. So it's like the drama is really between if Cowboy and Flicka are gonna go to their side or not, and ultimately they decided to. So yeah.
All right. Well, anything else from the episode?
That Pirates of the Caribbean music when they were doing the tribe, I was like, that was almost shameless.
They had music like that before, probably in Pearl Islands. They had similar music, but yeah, it's very. Yeah. it definitely feels that way.
It was legally distinct Pirates of the Caribbean music. So.
We'll welcome the 5th tribe leader, Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, here he comes. Here he comes. It seriously felt like he was just going to show up. This is right around the time of this 2007, right? So this is right around the time, or 2006 maybe. So this is right around the time of At World's End. So there you go.
Right, they should have a reward challenge you could see Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End.
At World's End. There you go.
With Johnny Depp in the bed.
Yeah, with Johnny Depp in a bed, and you get to have it out on that sandbar that looks a lot like the Parlay sandbar that they have.
Yes, you will reenact a scene from At World's End.
At World's End, one of you will be in a bucket, because you can't touch land.
And then they get confessional from someone who's like, it was so great reenacting the scene. I'm the biggest Pirates of the Caribbean fan.
Except I still don't know how they actually got him to sit there in that bucket, but
yeah,
it must have been like low tide or something. So when the tide came in, so they had to sit there and wait for tide to come back in before Davy Jones could get out because he can't get on land. So
it's like a reward challenge where it's like you'll actually be forming one tribe will be led by Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp. One tribe will be led by Penelope Cruz. All right, come on in.
Penelope Cruz, wait, she doesn't come into the 4th movie though. Sneak peek at
she's in that world.
The 4th Penelope Cruz? No, she's not.
What is it called then?
She's on Stranger Tides.
Stranger Tides. Okay.
Yeah, that's 2011 is around when that came out. So
right,
so I was gonna say yeah. So Keira Knightley, yeah. So this is between Keira Knightley and Johnny Depp.
Very fun challenge.
Anyway,
you'll have to roll on a barrel. Down a local village.
God. Oh, jeez. That's a goofy scene, though.
Iconic.
Iconic. Icons.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Cook Islands. Another good one. All killers. It was a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I've been really. This season's off to a very strong start. Hoping it can keep that momentum up.
Mm-hmm. Just like Jack Sparrow rolling down on that barrel.
Really rolling on that big wheel. Rolling on the wheel fighting. Who's he fighting in that? I don't even remember. I don't even remember.
But who could forget at the same time?
Who could remember? I don't. I definitely can't.
All right.
Yeah.
In the meantime, what video would you recommend our viewers watch next?
In the meantime, you can go check out our most recent Survivor simulation, our Tarqaron All-Stars Survivor simulation that we did.
Right.
Just came out as of the day of recording. I believe it just came out today, or it was last night. I don't remember, but yeah, go check it out. It was a lot of fun. It's a long one, but it's worth it. They always are. They're always fun.
Yeah, Tarqaron All-Stars 4, brantsteel.com. With a bunch of our iconic characters from the past year of reviews and videos. So yeah, for sure. Based
Oh, yeah.
on a season with Exile Island in it, Survivor Panama. So
Yeah, there you go.
So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and if you do, we'll be sure to read it in the next episode of the Tarqaron podcast. All right.
Absolutely.
Click the link in the description, hit the notification bell. All right. Yeah.